Hey guys, how's everybody over on Instagram, in our Facebook group? Great to see you and welcome to Rhythm Radio. And this is the time each week where we talk about how to create new rhythms in our bodies, in our days, in our health, in our business, in our lives, new rhythms. And today I'm going to talk about two questions that I find helpful when I'm feeling stuck or unable to make a decision. So, this can apply to anything: work, life, health, business. And you may find it applies to you right now in sort of the, as we move into, I'm hoping we're moving into the post-COVID era. You may find yourself looking at things with a different eye and deciding what you want to retain from that time, what you want to change, what you want to shift anytime we go through a major life event, whether it is something like a global pandemic, which we have all been part of, or it is a personal trauma, maybe it's a medical situation, a loss, a job change, whatever it might be. It's always one of those kind of like moments of reckoning where you can think about how you want to do things differently. You hear this a lot when people have gone through a health scare, battle cancer, those kind of things. I found that it was very prevalent after 9/11, especially where I live in Connecticut, outside of New York City. It was a very um, important time for people to kind of reevaluate. People made major life decisions because they were wondering if what they were doing was really what they wanted to be doing, or who they were spending their lives with was what they wanted to, who they wanted to spend their lives with, that kind of thing. And one of the things that I sometimes struggle with is I get in this place of saying, I don't know. And the business coach I work with will definitely vouch for this when she will say, you ask me what I want. And so many times I feel stuck and unable to make a decision, sometimes because there seem to be so many great options and I'm multi-passionate and I can't really decide like which direction I want to go. And sometimes in certain areas of life, it's because I can't find any good direction to go. So it could be for either reason. But by not choosing, that is actually a choice. And then you become what I think of as a drifter. You are drifting, and making no choice is sometimes more detrimental than making what may feel like the wrong choice, right? Because in the end, there are very few choices that are completely irreversible. So by not choosing, that is a choice, and then you're kind of drifting. Now some people like to choose with their head, some people like to choose with their heart. I kind of go back and forth. It sort of depends. And maybe you're a combination of that, that type of decision maker, from your head or from your heart. So one of the most popular coaching questions, and I'm going to give you two questions that I find helpful to ask myself when I'm feeling stuck and unable to make a decision. I have an inability to decide. And there are two questions that I find helpful. But even before I get to those two key questions, there's another question that's very popular in coaching that I use all the time. And that is, when faced with a decision and the client says, I don't know, I will always ask, if you did know, what do you think the answer would be? So that is a question to ask yourself. Sometimes if you're really feeling stuck, if I did know the answer to this, what would it be? So the first thing that I want to mention before we get to the two questions is to really reframe your language. And I've used many variations of affirmations for that. But one that I've been using lately, I think it was my friend Lisa Metagriff who had posted this affirmation one day, and it kind of stuck. This was probably a month or two ago, and I wrote it down because it really resonated with me. And that is, I trust myself and I know what I want. Because I do find myself repeating all the time, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. I'm stuck. And just by reframing and adding that language in, I trust myself and I know what I want. Try that on for size if you are feeling stuck. So the two questions, one of the questions that I will ask myself if I really just don't know what to do, what direction I want to go, is what is the next best action I can take? What is the next best action? So let's say I am trying to decide, I don't know, about taking a trip or signing up for, maybe you're going to go and get further education. You want to go to school and get another degree, or you want to move or buy a house or whatever it might be. What is the next best action I can take? It's going to help me make that decision. So, in a lot of cases for me, maybe it's doing some research or asking someone who might have attended that school or lived in that town I'm thinking of moving to, whatever it might be. What is the next best action? Because by doing that, you are then no longer in indecision. You're no longer drifting. You're making a choice to take the first step. Now, whether or not leads you to making a decision, it will lead you to more information, which can help you move forward. So, what is the next best action I can take? So, let's say you have a goal of, a health goal. Maybe you have a goal of losing weight or getting more active, and you're feeling stuck and you're trying to decide, what to do. What is the next best action I can take? Well, the next best action I can take might be just going out and going for a walk. So that's the first question. The second question is, what can I do to be an instrument of service? So when I am stuck and unsure and I say, oh, I don't know what I want, what of my options can I do to be an instrument of service? Because when we start to be of service, and this applies to life as well as business, but I find it especially helpful in business. If I'm looking at different projects, I can ask myself, what can I do to be an instrument of service? And that sometimes makes it clear what meeting I need to attend, what training I need to go to, what program I need to develop, what project I want to get on board with. Because when I ask that question and we go back to simply being of service, that is going to help us get out of decision, get out of that stuck place where we just feel like we don't know what to do next. So those are the two questions. What is the next best action I can take? And what can I do to be an instrument of service? If you are feeling stuck, if you are drifting, if you are finding it hard to move forward and make a choice, remember not choosing is a choice, then those are the good questions. Those good questions I like to start with. And then of course the bonus one is that what I mentioned, which every coach will ask you, is if you did know, what would it be? What would it look like? So there's a quote by Tennessee Williams that says, every path is the right path. Everything could be anything else, and it would have just as much meaning. Right? So every path is the right path. Everything could have been anything else, and it would have just as much meaning. So Mr. Tennessee Williams gives us a really good food for thought quote there, that you can't make a wrong choice, really. You might make a choice that ends up costing you a lot of money or time or energy, but it's going to bring you to a new place of growth, no matter what that is. So repeating that mantra, I trust myself and I know what I want. I find this all the time with coaching clients when they say, I don't know. But really, we do know, you do know. And the way to know is to spend a little time to get quiet and still. Ask yourself what the next best action you can take is and how you can best be an instrument of service. And that will bring clarity for your decision making. So thanks for listening to Rhythm Radio, and we'll catch you next time. Have a beautiful day.